sitting here since probably September, but no harm was done.
There he goes. So today really feels like a March day, like getting really close to spring, but it's really not. It's still January, and so I'm hot in a tractor with a hoodie on, but then when I go outside in the wind, I need the hoodie, so I haven't taken the hoodie off yet. But the other thing that made me feel like it was spring was I went through and I looked at my calving records and my preg check records for our spring herd, and they start right at the end of February. They start calving, so that always makes me feel closer to spring too. I remember last year with COVID going on, and it was right at the beginning of COVID and everything. No, actually it wasn't COVID yet. Anyways, last winter it felt like just a really long winter, all stretched out. And then from the time that first calf was born, my mood just went up and up, because no longer was it just kind of the monotonous cold days of winter, but I had little calves, baby calves to take care of. So that's a perk of having spring calving season. We've got a traffic jam up here. I'm about to meet one pickup, and then there's another vehicle following my brother in the semi. There's 4 cars in 1 square mile. One time, one of my wife's friends came out to our house here, out this farm here, and she said there was this farmer man just driving a tractor down the middle of the road, leaving a big old pile of dirt behind him. Immediately, Kaylin and I both thought, we both realized she was talking about the road grader, and we were like, oh my, you know, like that's hilarious. Farmer man driving a tractor down the middle of the road, leaving a pile of dirt. So that's all last year's straw, 2-year-old straw. And then we've got Millet, which is the trailer I just loaded on this trailer. And then this was the other Millet on that field that I just brought. Dad drove that trailer home, so that was the other load from that field today. Here he comes. Through here and down to the bale storage area. All right, already unloaded that whole trailer's worth. Put it right there, facing kind of north-south. Time for this trailer. I think I got it parked where I can get to every bale without moving it again. Every time I film, my Spotify and Bluetooth disconnects, so my music stops, but it's worth it to make. All right, while I'm here and I've got the front and the back forks hooked up, I'm gonna grab some of this wheat hay and move it up to closer to where where we feed it to the cows. That way, whenever I grab it with the loader, a lot of times I feed the cows with the feed wagon still on, so it's a lot easier to get it moved up real close so that we don't have to unhook the feed wagon when we feed the cows. We have 2 groups of cows right now, and one eats a bale they get 1 bale every 2 days, and the other group gets 1 bale every day. Okay, last thing I'm gonna do before chores is grab a grassy alfalfa bale from this stack here with this tractor and drive it out to the, it's like a little catch pen. I would call it kind of a creep feeder area that we have set up for the fall calves. Basically what I'm trying to do here is I just come up and I smell each bale. Whichever bale smells the best, I take that bale, because that's pretty much tells me about the quality of the alfalfa. And we choose a grassy alfalfa because we don't want the calves to get any form of bloat or anything from having too much alfalfa. They just need some supplement to the corn stalks and the wheat that they're on. That one is probably a little more on the alfalfa side. This one is a little too much on the grass side. That one smells pretty good though. All right, this is the one we want, and I have a path to get to it with the tractor, so we're gonna take that one. Can anybody else smell this video? I mean, obviously I can smell it. I'm right in front of it, but. Say cheese, you're on camera, little cabbies. And they're everywhere.
All right, we got done unloading bales, and now Kendal is helping unload some mineral we got from our feed supplement guy. Dad's been working on this roller mill. And then Nathan is in here welding on the feed wagon. So what you working on?
Well, the floor is getting a little thin here where it feeds out of the feed wagon. So we put in a plate in the bottom.
You can kind of see it. And now you're welding the plate to the wagon basically?
Yeah.
All right, well, good luck.
Yeah, it's real fun.
So I was going to show you guys a little breakdown of our double crop revenues. So on that field that I just took the bales off of, we call that field the East 80. And so it grew 76 acres of wheat, and then we harvested the wheat, and then we went in with double crop. Now, on that hill where we took the bales off of, that's what grew German millet. So we had 42 acres of German millet on that field. And then on the kind of the bottom ground that I was talking about, there's 34 acres of soybeans. So I'll show you here up close, millet made 75 acres of millet, or the millet made 75 bales, and they weighed 1,160 pounds on average per bale. And so you multiply that out by your cost per ton, and that would add $82.86 to the revenue for that field. And then the soybeans yielded 31 bushel an acre. So those are soybeans planted in June or early July, right after the wheat is harvested. So they yielded 31 bushel an acre. And then I set a price for them at about $10.50 because my low for soybean sales was at $8.89. So that was not the best sale, but my high for the 2020 marketing year was $13.32. So kind of right there in the middle, I used the number of $10.50. I'm not sure if those exact bushels got sold for that exact price, but that's the price I'm going to use. That's about some of this price I was getting at that time of year. And so that revenue was actually $325 per acre for the soybeans. So the soybeans made more dollars per acre, but the hill ground, which wouldn't have grown as many acres of soybean, or that hill ground that wouldn't have grown as many bushels per acre of soybeans, grew really good hay. And then on the same field, on that 76 acres of wheat, we also got off 66 bales of straw. So that one field produced a lot of different products for it, and then each one of them adds revenue to the farm and adds value to the farm. So that wheat, calculating the value of the wheat, would have been about $21 an acre, you see there. So the 66 bales, just a little bit less than one straw bale per acre. And we actually had some millet that, so you can see here, this German millet, which is a shorter variety of millet, was 1 ton per acre. We had some millet that raised over 2 ton per acre because we fertilized it, and that stuff was called pearl millet. So the pearl millet revenue per acre would have actually been up closer to $200 a ton. So that's just some insight into our double crop setup and what makes it profitable on a Kansas farm like ours, where we have cattle as well as crops. The other thing I forgot to mention is this spreadsheet does not take into account any expenses that grow into growing either of those crops. So straw doesn't have any expense because it's essentially just you get to collect that product after you harvest the wheat. The millet has just a seeding expense and 1 pass of chemical that's applied to kill the weeds after wheat is harvested. And then the beans, and then the harvesting cost for the millet, which would be the raking and swathing, raking and baling. And then the soybeans, the expenses on them is a little bit higher than the expenses on the millet. So that doesn't show you the profit per acre, just shows the revenue per acre and how we can add revenue to our cropping system by doing double crop.